Hey YouTube, just wanted to give you a quick video about how my brother and I sort and separate our copper pennies. Now we've been doing it for about 1.5 years. We started off pretty small. We were just getting a random box here and there from any bank that was close by. But what we've done now is we've gone to a bank that we have an account with, and we've asked them to order us 2 boxes a week, and that works out really nice. What you should do is if you have an account at a Canadian bank, just go to them and ask for a weekly pickup of 2 boxes, 1 box if you want to start with that. But even if you don't have an account, that shouldn't deter you from going to the bank either. What we've done is we've gone to a few and just kind of randomly checked in and asked them to give us whatever they have in their vault. Or if you want to call ahead, that works good too, and you can save yourself a trip if they don't have any. Also too, if you're Canadian, you probably know that they've canceled the penny. But that shouldn't deter you either from getting started. With our 2 boxes that we do every week, we get around 40 to 42% a box. As you saw in our previous video, we got 45 and 40% this week. So even if you started now and did it for the next 4 months, I believe they're not allowing in September any more deliveries to the bank. So in September you probably won't be able to get them anymore. But even if you just do it for the next 4 months, you can accumulate quite a bit of copper pennies in that time. So in our opinion, we think that you should start now. Start with 1 or 2 boxes from your bank every week and get them that way. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, so we'll start with how we sort and separate each of the copper pennies that we find from the boxes. The first 3 groups on the left, those are the Canadian pennies. We divide them into 3 groups, and then the last one there on the right, those are the American copper pennies. The Canadian ones, they can get quite confusing just because the weight changes quite frequently over the years, and we just sort them based on how much they weigh. But the first group here, these are the Canadian pennies from 1982 to 1996. They weigh 2.5 grams and have 98% copper in them. They're easily recognizable from the other ones just because they have 12-sided edges, and also because they're so small relative to the other ones as well. In the second group here, we have the 1980 and 1981 Canadian pennies. These ones weigh 2.8 grams and also have 98% copper in them. Finally, with the Canadian pennies, these ones are from 1953 to 1979. They weigh 3.24 grams and have 98% copper in them. Now, as I'll explain here in a second, we don't keep the ones with the King George VI and King George V on the back of those, even though that they're the same weight and have pretty much the same copper value. I believe it changes in 1941. There's a little bit more tin and a little bit less copper. But we keep 1953 to 1979 in this group here. And then finally we have the American copper pennies in this last group. These ones we have the years 1959 to 1981. And these ones, I believe they weigh 3.1 grams and they have 95% copper in them. Alright, so now we're looking at the pennies that we separate based on their numismatic value rather than their copper value. We no longer have the queen on the back of the penny. This one right here is a 1939 King George VI penny. And again, even though it doesn't have the queen on the back, it still has the same 2 large maple leaves with the Canada lettering underneath. And if you're lucky enough, you'll come across the King George V penny. These King George VI, they go from 1937 to 1952. And again, these King George V, you can tell which one he is because he's wearing a crown. They go from 1920 to 1936. And again, they don't have the 2 large maple leafs in the middle like the other ones. They have 2 maple leaves on them, but they're at the side. And again, there's the lettering 1 cent right in the middle. Next we have the wheat penny. You can tell which one those ones are because of the 2 wheat ears that are on the edges, and also like the previous Canadian penny that said 1 cent in large lettering. This one also has the same. This is a 1940 wheat penny, and Abe is the exact same as he always is on the back there. Finally, we have the 1982 pennies from the United States. Now, there's some discussion that says just forget about all the 1982s altogether. Just don't worry about them. Keep all the ones before 1982. But as you can see, we have quite a few 1982 pennies that we find in the boxes. And most of these are going to be copper. Now, to figure out which ones are copper pennies and which ones are zinc pennies, you're going to have to weigh them. And the copper ones, they'll weigh 3.1 grams. And the zinc ones, they're going to weigh 2.5 grams, 2.5 grams. Now, we just got ourselves a gram scale, so we'll be able to weigh those in an upcoming video here pretty soon. But we say don't discard them. Don't forget about the 1982s. Keep those ones off to the side. And if you ever get around, we picked the gram scale up at Walmart for about 18 bucks. But we also use it to weigh food and things of that nature, not just for pennies here. So get a gram scale when you can and weigh those 1982s to see which ones are copper and which ones are zinc. And finally, you'll also find quite a bit of foreign coins. As you can see here, we get quite a bit of euro cents, both the 1 and 2 cent. A lot of pennies from the United Kingdom, and also some 6-pence pieces. There's a Mexican coin in here somewhere, but just keep those off to the side. Oh, and there's even a Newfoundland coin there. Keep these off to the side. They're just interesting to find. Some of them are copper, some of them aren't, but we keep them separate from the other ones, just on their own. Alright, so that's it for how we sort our copper pennies. We would appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed on the video. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments, and we'll answer them as quick as we can. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.